just really, it doesn't seem like a service, right? When you think festival, you think it's fun. If we say service, you think work. When do I get my day off? we work for the weekend. But in devotional life, it says, maybe that's in the Bible, isn't it? Every walk is a dance, every word is a song. Because it's, and at the same time it says it's service. So it seems like it's contradictory. And when you say surrender, well, nobody wants to surrender. Surrender is a word that you use when you're forced to do something, isn't it? Right? Like I was telling everybody, raise your hands. So please come in and say, okay, everybody raise your hands, surrender, right? Everybody puts their hands up immediately. Don't shoot me, don't shoot. So Krishna is not like that. He's not like, you surrender to me or else put your hands up. No, actually he wants our love. Everybody wants love, not just Krishna. We all want love. So love is voluntary. And it's also causeless, the best love, right? Despite all my faults, this person still likes me. That's like amazing. Why? So that's real love. Hard to find that kind of love. It's generally, and the material world is designed in such a way for competitive love, conditional love, right? I love you because you're so beautiful, wealthy, strong, famous, one of those 6 reasons. And I love you because of those 2. So we're in love until the condition breaks. Then we're not in love anymore. Then we're all frustrated, not happy. So we're originally meant for this unconditional love to Krishna. And why not? He deserves it, don't you think? He's like that with us. Has anyone really had to ask for anything, in a sense? Like, every morning, please let the sun rise. No, we don't ever have it. Just gives it. Whether you love him or not, you still get it. How about atheists? There's no God at all. They still get stuff. So that's the greatest form of love. Cartels. So we'll sing Ratha-Yatra and say some prayers, and I have one verse we'll read from, and then we'll use that as the talking point. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, all glory to the Assembled Devotees. Also, this is the Memorial Day weekend, so actually that's also a celebration of the love, I say sacrifice, because it is a form of love that so many people in the past gave their life for what we have today, this American country. I understand actually it was to honor the people during the Civil War, actually, fighting over what kind of nation it was going to be. And then later on it was expanded. I think it was called, I can't remember the name, Declaration Day or something like that. 1971, I think it was. Gerald Ford, one of those presidents. Anyway, they formally made the Memorial Day, which we have now, to honor all the veterans. So, the one I think of the most recently was, maybe you all remember this NFL football player. I can't remember his name, but anyway, imagine you to become an NFL football player, you really have to sacrifice your entire life from childhood, you know, just to compete. And then he achieves that monumental pinnacle of football. But out of love for his country, he decides, no. Okay, our country's at war, may not agree with it. So if these boys are going to fight, I'll go with them also. And he puts that aside. And not that they gave him any special protection while he was in there. So he died himself even while he was there. So I'm going to read from the chapter 9, verse 27. That verse where Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that for me. So some of you already know this, so I'll repeat the Sanskrit. I'll say the Sanskrit, those who know it can repeat with me. Normally we could put it up on the board, but we're a little bit disorganized today. You're also first time, right? No? Okay.
I'm sorry.
My first time seeing you. Probably, okay. I've been away for a while. Also, just so I get to acknowledge while I was gone, we had those two devotees pass away, so Jantila's auntie and Jyotika, so it was kind of shocking to hear, but that also gives us a little wake-up call, doesn't it? We can also, don't forget, sometimes we forget that we're not going to be seeking Mahiti forever, no matter how wonderful I think it is. You have to give it all up. But the service goes on. So for a devotee, it doesn't really matter. When you rise, when your love for Krishna rises to a certain platform, it doesn't make a difference. You know, we see that opportunity to serve, and that's our pleasure. So in Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he prayed like that. I don't care if I take birth as a worm in stool. Who wants to take birth as a worm eating stool? It's a service. Somebody's got to get rid of all that stuff. He says, I'll take that birth, as long as it's some service to you. So that's a very elevated platform.
How China preaching going on?
Oh, we'll get to that.
It just came from here.
Different, that's for sure. He was asking about China. So, no temples, no, it's just home programs. They don't have much association. People hear about Krishna, but they just have to make their own kind of Krishna consciousness. So, the hardest thing for me was nobody can keep timing. Nobody can do 1, 2, 3. Nobody can play cartel. Nobody. So I'm correcting everyone. So the person translating for me said, hey, just let it go. They're never going to be able to do 1, 2. So I had to find one tune that everyone could sing, just sing that one all the time. But still, they're so, there's no Gorartik, Moni Pro, none of that. It's just, so, anyway. Devotees can go there, give them some association.
No devotees? No devotees in the temple? Anybody lives in the temple?
What temple?
Over there?
You can't have any temple there. Put you in jail, you try to start a temple. We'll be writing books about you. Well, they get salted bread, salted. So, it's hard to tell someone to do that too. You should surrender like they did in Russia. Am I going to surrender like that? I'm telling them, go get locked up and put yourself in jail. Some devotees have spent like a year in jail for preaching. One devotee convinced one military officer to become a devotee. So they put that devotee in jail for a year for that offense. Okay, chapter 9, verse 27. Yat kuroshi yat anashi yat jojosi dadasi yat tapasasi konteya tat guru swamara param yat kuroshi yat anashi yat jojosi dadasi yat tapasasi konteya tat guru swamara param yat kuroshi yat anashi yat jojosi dadasi yat tapasasi konteya tat guru swamara param. We'll do the word for word. Hey, could you give her one of those Gitas? Also, so she can see the verse? Right behind you. I'm sorry, yeah. Sure. So I'll just read the translation. Translation, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So you can repeat after me. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Thus it is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. So, of course, this is the 9th chapter, and this is the chapter that describes devotional service. And he's already explained that why we should not forget Krishna. So he's saying, so the goal of the human life is to shape our life like that. Of course, how many people are born in devotional families? 2, so 3. They know from birth. We grew up the other way. Right? You can be somebody. You can be the president. And if you don't, you're a failure. Mold your life to be a capitalist. What about death? Who cares about death? Enjoy now. What about that when it comes? So, by this point, we should be convinced about why we should want to remember Krishna. So many reasons. That's a whole month's worth of classes on why. So we won't go into that. It says everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together. Right? We have our building, we're cutting grass, trees are falling, we're arguing with the neighbors. The neighbor came by and said, why are you disturbing our Memorial Day? Stop cutting that tree. We want to honor the veterans. I said, well, normally people honor veterans by doing some voluntary work. come over and help us cut this tree. No, we're going to have barbecue. We're not going to cut tree down. So, anyway, everybody is working. And it says, Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. That's a whole nother class too. We'll talk about that. How do you work for Krishna? And do I get a paycheck? Do I get health benefits? So, everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, you should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform some religious, ritualistic ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends do it for me. That is called Archana, or Panihati festival. Right, have our ritualistic ceremonies. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. Isn't it? Save the whale, save so many things. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna conscious movement. This is Prabhupada's sentiments. He has that love. This is his mission, so that's coming out in his talk. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to the meditation process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practiced meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra round his beads, he is surely the greatest meditator and the greatest yogi, as substantiated by the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Om Gyana Tinaranja Salagananjanan Chalakaya Chakshamitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, you see, Prabhupada gives these two ideas here that we should work for Krishna, and then he mentions here about meditation. So he brought up China. China, Buddhism was prominent. Actually, Buddha, he appeared in the region commonly known now as India, in Gaya was the area. And the Buddhists in China recognize that, as a matter of fact. Some of them go there on pilgrimage. So, of course, as with any religion or spiritual practice that's been around for a long time, it has a tendency to change. People add things to it. Even this Bhagavad Gita, as you said, Bhagavad Gita as it is, because he's trying to bring it back to its original meaning. Everything for Krishna. So Buddhism is kind of, you ask Buddhists, I ask many of them, what is this? Even the priests, what is the ultimate goal? And they change the subject, they don't want to talk about it. I can only include they don't understand it really. Because there's a voidist philosophy there, that they're avoiding the empty, go to nothing. But while you're in something, you have to deal with happiness and distress, karma. So they accept all these principles. They chant on beads, I'm surprised. You go on the airplane, you see people with beads wrapped around their arm, chanting Nam Myo Benki Ko, something like that. So to get them to chant japa it was very easy, because they already have the habit of chanting. I'm talking brand new people after talking to them, like, yeah, I like this, I like this. Okay, so let me show you how to chant japa on your beads. They already have beads 108. And we sit down and we chant one round of japa, and they keep chanting Hare Krishna. They like it. So they want to meditate. Why? Because I want to be happy. So we're all motivated by this driving force to be happy. That's natural. We are pleasure-seeking entities. Because Krishna is like that. We're part and parcel of Krishna. So he's divided himself into unlimited energies. We have this gross material energy, bhumir apo namo vayu kamano buddhavacha. It's not conscious. And then he says, apariyamitas tvanyam prakriti vidi me prayam. Jiva bhuta mahavayo. That besides this, there's the jivas, which are us. We're the conscious beings. Consciousness is a symptom of the soul. And we're struggling in this material world, trying to get happiness from these things. So in actuality, if we really analyze it, isn't it, we all can recognize it's not the objects that are giving us the happiness, but when we use the objects in relationship with others. So the happiness is coming because of the relationships. But relationships we have in the material world are based on I, me, mine. So it's difficult to achieve a high level of happiness there, because our happiness, when we say I, me, and mine, that means what? My body. We falsely think I'm the body. We think I'm the mind. The mind is the sitting place where all the desires enter. Yes, yes, do it, do it. It's going to be so great. Go over there and tell them, Hare Krishna, quit cutting that tree down so we can enjoy our barbecue. Comes the world, you're going to stop that right now. Just. If I want to Hare Krishna, I probably would have, that ghetto on her. Who do you think you're talking to? You don't talk to me like that. Anyway, I just tried to see it from her perspective. And I said, can you give us one more hour? She said, no, you got 1 minute. Or I'm going to file a complaint. So, anyway. The mind, you see, it'll never let you be happy. Because whatever it's relentless. No matter what you do for it, it wants more. Even up to the point of death. Please give me 2 more days, doctor. I have to finish this business for my family. No, that's not. You're not in charge. So, which is service? What is that? When we say serving the mind, it means we're rendering service to it. When we have friends, that's a form of service. We may not see it like that, but it's actually service. So, Krishna is saying, well, make me your friend. Make me your friend. Make me... It's easy to understand how to be a servant more so than be a friend. And below servant is awe and reverence. That's very easy to understand. I'm very small, and you're very great. Like, I don't know what your politics is. Maybe you like Trump, maybe you don't like Trump. But if he comes in as the president, everybody will give him respect because he's the president. You can't help it. Powerful position. So, our first understanding that there is God exists, which anybody disagree with that? You accept God exists, right? No. I'm sorry, I forgot your name already. Hate to pick on you. Yeah. Natalia, you accept there's God, right?
Yes.
Okay, we won't have to talk about that. So God exists. So then what is my relationship to Him? Well, He gives me stuff. That is a relationship. That's nice. Just like children have a relationship with their parents, generally. The parents, especially the mother, out of love, gives. No condition, isn't it? I use that example all the time. 2 o'clock in the morning. The mother is the first one to get up. No complaint. With love, even. Oh, my baby's crying. Even when the baby becomes 50 years old, she still sees him as my baby. Do you need anything? Is anything okay? Even if he becomes the president, she never says, Mr. President, are you eating well? Is everything okay? It's a service, but it's out of love. It's a different kind of rasa, as we say, relationship. So there's on reverence, servitorship. You're great, I'm small, I'll serve you. Like with our employers, nobody really loves their employers. In a sense, you know? I work for Google, I love Google. If they don't pay you, you're not going to love them. You know, it's still a love. Friends, is a little higher. Doesn't seem like service, but to be a friend is a lot of service. Hey, don't do this. You have to tell them things they don't want to hear. Hey, I'm your friend. I'm telling you, don't do this. Mother, father, and then husband and wife, even more service. even though it doesn't seem like service. And so, especially in the West, it seems like that generally comes out of lust. Oh, you're so beautiful, you're so this, you make me feel good, so I'll marry you. But really, it's service. So on the material platform, we're all negotiating these services. But they're not giving us the full satisfaction we want. So Krishna is saying, serve me, be mindful, you serve me. In the beginning, of course, he's stressing this surrender, especially at the end of the Gita. Savardama Prachaja, just surrender to me. Give up everything. I'll protect you, because we're looking for that. I'll protect you from all sinful reactions. So because we're still feeling need, and as one gets purified, and he realizes that actually he doesn't need anything, then those other relationships will manifest. It's like a child. Does a child feel like he's surrendering to the mother and father? No, you just play. And the mother and father, hey, don't go in the street, don't do this, don't do that. They're always meditating on the child. What is he doing? Where is he? The child doesn't have to worry about cooking dinner, paying the bills. So under illusion, we think my mother and father don't exist. I have to do those things. So technically, Krishna is doing everything for us. He is and he isn't. It's hard to describe that, but we can understand it simply by the fact that we have this body. You could have been born in China. Why are you born in America? Whose choice was that? You could have been Donald Trump's daughter if you wanted. So these arrangements have been made for us. He says, I'm the ability in man, even your ability to do things. So we may not be satisfied with what he's given us. And as we advance in knowledge, we can understand that this is given to us as a result of our activities, our karma. So it's not really his fault, in a sense. So when our love matures, then we won't be so much concerned about those arrangements. We're just concerned about, how can I make Krishna happy? When the love awakens, how can I make Krishna happy? And as we get absorbed in that thought, then you'll find that all these other things, or so-called problems and challenges in life, are trivial. They become second. The first thing is make Krishna happy. So, how do we practically, how do we do that? I don't see Krishna. Anybody here see Krishna talking? Yeah, she's getting to the point. I was going to jump over there. Therefore, we have the deity. People go, why are you worshiping idols? We're not worshiping idols. This is according to our Panihati and system of deity worship. It's in a form in which we can serve Krishna. Right? Love means what? Does it mean I just love you? No, if you love somebody, you do something, isn't it? You want to do something. Naturally you want to do something. You know? When you love someone and you're walking down the street, oh, let me buy them some flowers. They're such beautiful flowers. Oh, she will love that so much. Let me buy him a bowling ball. Nobody bowls anymore, right? Oh, what do you buy the men nowadays? iPad. iPhone. Anyway, so when you love Krishna, you think the same way. Now you think everything in relation to Krishna. Therefore, he comes to the deity so that you can render some service. He likes to eat. Krishna eats. And so we offer the things he likes to eat. You see, he has his flute. He likes to play his flute and sing and dance. So we sing and dance for him. And of course, the deity we're worshiping with awe and reverence. Therefore, we have the artik, very formal, paying obeisances. We want to understand that rasa, that relationship first. You are great, I am small. Thank you for everything, and let me try to render some service. And actually, greater than service to the deity is, because the deity doesn't talk to us, right? Okay. So, I know some of us have our, but technically they didn't talk to us. So, we have the parampara that we get our service from. This is coming through the line of all the gurus, from Krishna, Brahma, Narada, Vyas, on and on and on and on. We have Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya. That's why we have him on that seat. He has brought us this service of Krishna. And if you get the chance, you should definitely read the Lilamrita to understand, what is that position. Generally, you see someone on a big seat like that, you think, what makes him so special? I mean, it's natural. You're not accustomed to it. I think in the Christian church they have the Jesus, but over the years they've learned to either accept him as God or as the Son of God. But when you see someone else, you think, wait a minute, what's going on here? So he's not coming because he wants to be worshipped and honored, but because he is a representative, being this parampara, he's honored in this way. And he says something that is service. I am the guru, and we are the disciple. And the mission is there. Where did that mission come from? It came from his guru. Prabhupada would tell us all the time, I'm simply trying to satisfy my Guru Maharaj. Kindly help me. I'm an old man. I can die anytime. So it's very important that we keep this mission going. So you please help me. So, we still have a few of the pioneers here. Balabhadra, a few other devotees who see Prabhupada and served at that time. We're trying to pass on that mood of serving. So we try to make Prabhupada happy. That's the easiest way. You can, of course, okay, Prabhupada's not here. How do I know what Prabhupada's happy? Well, we have other gurus, other representatives of GBC, temple management. So we all work together for this mission. So, of course, that sounds kind of, wow, mission. That's kind of, I can't think of the word, very serious. Of course, most of us who were there at that time, it was serious and it was fun. That's the nature of Krishna consciousness. It's hard to see the material emotions. You have to experience it, then you understand it. Actually, the greatest happiness in Krishna consciousness, not just here, but those who love Krishna, is what? To not see Krishna. When Krishna leaves you. Who wants to be abandoned by someone we love? It's like horrible, doesn't it? It's the greatest pleasure on the spiritual platform. Hard to fathom that and understand that. So let's Raganuga Bhakti and all those things. We're just down on the Sadhana Bhakti at this point. We can deal with that level of realization. So even on Sadhana Bhakti, we can still have our service, which is fun. This festival is coming up. Krishna came with his pastimes, and some of those pastimes we honor. I think really just go down puja. Of course, his appearance day, Janmashtami. And then he appeared again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda. Srila Prabhupada has come here and he saw these Gaudi-Tai deities standing here. They were first installed deities. Actually, we don't have the picture. The Panchatattva was the deity, except that painting was worshipped for how many years? 4 years. And then Gornitai was installed in 1974. So they have their pastimes. So Prabhupada, of course, seeing these deities, immediately, of course, he had his ecstatic moment, one of the memorable moments in Iskcon 1-minute lecture, describing the mercy of Chaitanya and Nityananda. And he said that this temple is in the mood of Nityananda. Chaitanya, Krishna, we know, he says, he came even though nobody wanted him to come. You know, because we're down here trying to enjoy separate from Krishna. So why are you coming down here bothering us? You know? But he comes to show his pastimes. Right? How many people have read the Krishna book? You got to get that book. That's a nice one. Bhagavad Gita is nice. That's another thing in China. They have published Bhagavad Gita, some of the philosophical books. No Krishna book. It's so hard talking to devotees because they haven't read Krishna book. It's like, wow, it's a challenge, you know. You tell them pastimes like, wow, I didn't know that. Unless they're going to Mayapur, and some of them don't. But if you read that book, then you understand God as a person. You start getting that relationship with him like that. He's not just, you know, oh, give me this, give me that, protect me, you know, make me happy. He becomes a person, so that means you reciprocate. He makes me happy, I make him happy. At least like that. Then Mahaprabhu's pastimes, of course, are maybe a little more relatable for us. We have Ratha-Yatra that he honored. And in our temple, we have this Panihati festival, pastime of Lord Nityananda. Who has not been to Panihati festival? So I thought you didn't make it last year. Okay. You've been to Panihati?
This is the first time.
First time. But you go out of town? You were here last year.
No, I started coming last year, but I missed
Oh,
this.
okay. All right. This is Lord Nityananda in the mood of a cowherd boy. So, of course, he's preaching so much, but he's with his friends, so sometimes he just wants to have some fun. So his mood is like that. So they decided, let's have a picnic. What he thought. He kind of surprised them. They weren't thinking that way. They were on their way back to Navadvip because Lord Chaitanya had ordered them. Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri. This is near almost his Anchalila, where he's beginning to experience the mood of service of Radharani. Just leave that there. We'll talk about that another time. He had two purposes. To distribute the holy name and to experience what it means to be a devotee. God worshiping himself. Because to be a devotee is so ecstatic. So he wanted to experience it. That's how nice it is. He's like, he's looking at her, how is it that we can understand the pleasure she's experiencing? I know she's experiencing greater pleasure than me in this relationship between her and I want to experience that too. So he has to come as a devotee. And to experience the mood of Radha, she combines with him in the body of Gauranga. So he becomes golden. And if you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangala, Chaitanya Charitamrita, they all describe 3 different ways that he made that decision. I'm surprised I'm reading Chaitanya Mangala now, and he described it as a conversation between Rukmini and Dwarka Krishna, where she's glorifying Radharani indirectly. And he feels out, well, I want to experience that. And Narada Muni comes. This is a long pastime. We won't get into that. So Nityananda, spontaneously, of course, wants to have this picnic. And his Panihati festival is a picnic So we have our picnic next weekend. That pastime continues. So the Lord likes festivals. It's fun, isn't it? Just the thought of it. They put all these picnic pots up on the altar. Over the years, they've grown. They used to be very... How many pots the first time? Just 1, 3? 8? Big one, small one? Just chip rice only, right? No fancy stuff on there. Not decorations you can eat, though. Really? Yeah, so it's grown over the years, and I'll tell one pastime I know of it. You see now we have the painted pots, right? How many people know how that came to be? Me. That was one of the years I did. Remember Mala Chaitanya? Mala Chaitanya was here. So there was always this complication of putting the pots on the altar. Because, people order their pot and they have a particular flavor. There's 16 flavors of chip rice. I didn't know that. No, chip rice, I thought it was only one flavor. No, he has 16 new palawa and so many different. Hot, spicy, sweet. So every year, we try putting labels on. So you call the name, get your pot. The label fall off. Well, you gave my pot away. I can't believe it. I ordered this particular flavor and you gave it away. I'm so mad at you. So then we started writing letters, J, G, sheet of paper. So confusing. It was like, oh man, this is like such a headache. So, and then I'm looking at it, it looks, it didn't look so nice. J, brown pot with JG on it. So I said, hey, Mama, why don't you paint one of those pots? We'll just paint the 3. He goes, okay. And then we had the auction that year. And people saw those painted pots, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for the pot. So we're painting all the pots next year. So Mama Chaitanya painted the first one. I can't remember what year that was. If you go to Mayapur also, he was teaching art there. And you have not seen, those pots are like works of art. Beautiful. Painted by the children. He taught them to paint so well. It's hard enough to paint on a flat surface. What to speak of a round one? Such beautiful pots. I tried to bring one back, but anyway, I couldn't get even luggage. So other places are having Panihati festival now and getting His Mercy the Lord Nityananda. So festivals, this is also serving. It's not that, just you have to dredge through Krishna consciousness, chant my rounds, for regular principles, surrender. That's one way to do it. You can make it more positive. Just add some Krishna to your life. And you find it, actually, because it's voluntary. Well, it has to be voluntary, otherwise you don't feel satisfied. So, festival is a good time to add some Krishna to your life. Come volunteer and take up all this unlimited services that need to be done. And you'll find that after the 3 days of service, you're going to go, wow, that was really nice. I was so busy. My throat is too sore, and I don't know where my bead bag is. And my sari dhoti's got stains all over it. And somebody bumped into my car, got a little dent. But it was such a nice festival, It's such a nice festival. So this is Krishna consciousness, Festivals are part of Krishna consciousness. As I mentioned, we have the Sadhu Sangha going on now. And Ratha-Yatra in Baltimore. So this weekend starts off the Iskcon festivals Every weekend it'll be a festival. New York Ratha-Yatra also, which is nice. And every weekend, some Ratha-Yatra somewhere. All the way up to Janmashtami. I think Philadelphia has the last one. September 20, they haven't picked the date, 24th, the last Ratha-Yatra. So it's not that far. And round trip, you can get $75 if you're lucky. So, yeah, Iskcon is like that. We are a festival of food and chanting and dancing. And of course, we have our missionary work that's going on, like he mentioned, China. So, people like Krishna consciousness there. They're looking for it. There is the challenge, of course, the government is very restrictive. Not that they're against, what I find, they're not against religion per se. They just want to make sure they're in charge, so they don't like any groups forming where they have leaders. Doesn't matter, religious or not. No big groups of anyone, of leaders. So they suppress that. And no parades either. I was really shocked. I thought, you've seen how we have on our Ratha-Yatra, we'll have the Chinese. They don't have that in China. That's in Hong Kong. That's where I came from. No parades, it's just work. They don't have a lot of freedom to do things. They're kind of very restricted. But they have stuff. They have a lot of stuff. It's a new economy, so everything's new. Lots of buildings, everybody got brand new cars. Everybody has money, but they're bored. No excitement. Because they don't allow capitalism to be full onslaught like we have in America. Every second you're being enticed. Come on, new, this is new, you need this. Right? You look at television and the movies, very subtle, isn't it? We think TV is real. We can have that life like on television. That's not real at all. You know? So we're always striving. Now, come on, yes, I can get that happiness. But rest assured, there is no happiness in that kind of form. You have to reimpose your happiness in serving Radha Mohan, Shri Tai, Srila Prabhupada, all the simple devotees. And as you do that, your love awakens. How do you know your love awakens? Because I can tolerate all their faults. It doesn't matter what fault they have. You know, I can still serve. Prabhupada was like that. Otherwise, how could he have spread this movement? You know, imagine, he's coming from India. His godbrothers, they also tried. He wasn't the only one. He had many godbrothers who tried, but they were very, formal. You must do like this, you must do like that. Why are you eating with your left hand? Don't touch this, don't touch that. So many, people didn't really feel much love, a lot of rules and regulations. Prabhupada just came, 5 hours Hare Krishna, chanting. Thompson Square Park, you have to see that. And when he chanted, he only had one melody. The same one, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, for 5 hours. And they was ecstatic. They couldn't even play instruments. You look at those old videos, they're playing broken piano, and everybody's got all kind of things. They all chant at the same time. There's no singing and responding. So from that chanting, all the love awakened. And as the love awakened, then he introduced more rules and regulations to make it more refined. So the love part is the most important part. You have to remember that. And then the other things will go on. So, and what is Prabhupada's love? Even if you don't achieve full Krishna consciousness in this lifetime, he's told many devotees who've asked him that, Prabhupada, this is too difficult, I can't do it. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to me? I said, don't worry, I have the key for the back door. I'll take you through the back door. You just try. So this is the age of mercy. So we have to catch that mercy mood. And you keep that all the time. You bring that into the festival like that. And so many devotees are going to come. There's going to be so many problems. So many things are going to be right. But you have to see, like children. Like I say, you're trying to do so many things, and children can't generally do anything right, hasn't it? I use the drawing the picture, or sometimes baking. Mommy, I made some cake. Can you please have some? Does the mother say no? Let me give you some cake. Pretend like you eat it. Oh, it tastes so good. That is so nice. So we try to do like that. And then you'll find that, the things will grow more and more and more. And the imperfections, those are temporary. They go away. They go away. So, Panihati Festival ki. Right. Srila Prabhupada ki. Right. All glories to the Summit devotee. Any quick question or anything? Okay, we could have, you can talk later. So, what's next?
Haribo! He just came back from China, and he preached a lot of Srila Prabhupada's glories in China. He's just back from China. So we are happy to have him here. Thank you. Haribo. So our next part of the program, we are actually looking for a Sunday sponsor. We don't have a sponsor today. Is any devotee who wants to sponsor today's Sunday feast?
How much is it?
It's $301.
I'll do it.
Thank you. Haribo. What's your good name?
Dr. Shikhi. But you have to get the tape.
Yeah, no problem. So you can come to the mini arati. Please come. So we'll have kirtan, and then we'll make the lesson as well.
Hare Hare
and go to downtown with Jagannath deities. Please come by 10:30. 10:30 is the sharp time that the Jagannath deity is going to leave from the temple for downtown for us. And then we'll also have shuttle service for all the devotees who doesn't have a car, or if you don't want to drive there. So we'll have 2 shuttle service. So one shuttle service will be at 9:30 a.m. in the morning, and then there will be also one at 10:30 and one at 11:30. So you can take the shuttle service from the temple, and they will take you to the downtown where the Rath starts. And they'll also bring you back from there also, but that will be only after the Ratha-Yatra. And there will be prasadam will be served after the Ratha-Yatra at Uddhava Park, so you can have your prasadam. But we'll also have little arrangement at the temple also for prasadam. If somebody cannot go, you can take prasadam at the temple also. But most of the prasadam will be served in downtown. And there will also a cultural program in downtown for all the devotees and any visiting people who are attending the Ratha-Yatra. Also, in the evening there will be all the program in the temple, and we'll have a stage program with cultural programs, dramas, and they will be visiting sannyasis, they will be speaking, so you can take the chance to hear from the different sannyasis and Iskcon leaders. And there will be a lot of Prabhupada disciples who are coming, so they will be also speaking, so you can take this chance to hear from the Prabhupada disciples. And on Sunday, next Sunday, is the Panihati festival. And Panihati festival, there will be Prabhupada disciple will be speaking in the morning. That will actually start around 11. Supposed to start at 11. So we'll start around 11 or 10 o'clock. But you can be here by 9:30, 10 o'clock, because there will be breakfast prasadam will serve here at 9 a.m. So you can have breakfast prasadam. After the breakfast prasadam, we'll take Prabhupada around our project here. And after that, we'll start the Prabhupada disciple talk. And then, after the Prabhupada disciple speaking is over, then we'll have Panihati Mahotsav. We'll offer cheap price with 108 pots. There are different tastes of cheap price. We'll put in those pots, and we'll offer to Gaurnitai, Jagannath, Radha Subhadra Maharani, and Shri Radha Madan Mohan. And then actually there will be all the prasadam which is offered to the deities. Those who have sponsored the pots, they will take the prasadam and they will serve you. You will be now set, they will take themselves and they will serve everyone, whoever is here. So that is the most wonderful festival that happens actually during the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. Nityananda Prabhu himself, he ate the cheap rice and he also distributed to devotees. So this is the actual Panihati festival pastimes. So we'll do the same thing here. So you can take the pots, you can honor your prasadam yourself, and at the same time you take out the pots and you go outside. There will be a lot of devotees. You can distribute those prasadam to everyone. And after, in the evening also we'll have cultural programs, drama, and also there will be Bhakti Charu Maharaj will be speaking on the stage. So you can hear that. And then after the cultural program is over, we will be serving dinner prasadam for everyone. So we'll have lunch, breakfast, and dinner prasadam at the temple for these 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. So there will be profusely prasadam to serve for everyone, so you can all come and enjoy the festival. So now I request maity prabhu to.
Panihati Festival Key. So I'm sure everyone would like to participate in the pots. How many? I'm surprised. This is how many? 36 big pots. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pots this year. All the veterans are gone, huh? This festival, of course, requires some fundraising to put it on. And this is a nice opportunity for you all, if you like, to please help sponsor by sponsoring the pot. Do we have any pots that they can send? Also, this festival is not just the things you sing here, but it's mostly a devotee festival, so kirtan is going on all day. There'll be a class also in the morning. We have Malati Devidasi coming. She is one of the earliest disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Her husband carved the first deities in Iskcon. Who were the first deities in Iskcon? Who knows? She'll be here. And when that's at the show, is also every morning we'll have our Mangalarti. There'll be the Guru Puja, and of course, every morning one of those senior devotees will be speaking. Srila Prabhupada's personal servant, Shruti Kirti, he'll be here. So we can sit down and talk to these people. You don't just have to see them on the stage. You can ask them, hey, you know, what is a personal question? Wouldn't that be nice? It's your opportunity to hear from somebody who's been with Prabhupada from the very beginning. You can ask anything. That's what they come in here for, not just to stand on the stage. So come take advantage of that association. So anyway, we won't take much time, but we're looking for, this is the last day for sponsorship. Well, you can also Saturday or Sunday, but we would like to get a few more big pot sponsors. So anyone who's been considering sponsoring, want to sponsor something now? If you get your pot, yeah. Cool. Anyone? What other sizes do you have besides these big ones?
We have $101 small one.
They have the big ones are 301. They have another size that's 100, and the small ones are 50. 50. Mini spots. Okay, let's do this. You'll think about this. Swita's in on the side, right? And I think there's some other things that need to be sponsored too. So if you're inclined to sponsor something you haven't already, please come see Sweta, and we'll give you some of these things covered.
Let's give a big Haribol for Pune Mataji for sponsoring $1,001 for Maha Arati.
Okay, so please come and have last darshan, and he will take us side and we'll serve that side. Hare Krishna.